Looks like they're almost ready over there.
Then they wanted to do it when we moved back from Illinois. We moved back to Illinois.
Okay, let's go ahead and call tonight's meeting to order, and if able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
So yeah, we had 16 entries.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Pate,
Here.
Councilmember Shavetta,
Here.
Councilmember Kosmeyer,
Here.
Councilmember Hands,
Here.
Councilmember Caldwell,
Here.
Councilmember Leahy,
Here.
Councilmember Ryder,
Here.
Councilmember Silvers,
Here.
Councilmember Yodridge.
Here.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next item up this evening is public items. Members of the public are encouraged to use this time to make comments about matters directly related to the city's programs and services. Comments related to the matter or to a matter or topic of the city council agenda that is subject of a public hearing should be provided during the scheduled public hearing and not during the public comment period. Please note individuals making public comments will be limited to 3 minutes. The city reserves the right to refuse public comments which are inconsistent with the parameters established within the governing body's rules and procedures. I do have a sign-up sheet, and we do have one person on this sign-up sheet right now, and that would be Lynn Ganaden. Okay, if you'd come forward and give your name and address for the record at the podium here.
Hi, my name is Lynn Ganaden, and I live at, 9005 West 47th Street in Merriam. So good evening to the council and to you, Mayor. I spoke with the council here a couple of months ago regarding my concerns about preparing for ICE in our community, and the safety of our community. And I kind of want to know, like, what's next? How can I hear what's going on with that? You know, if it's being developed, a plan for a response to ICE in our community. And so I just wanted to basically just to say that, you know, there's an increase of ICE activity in our Johnson County or the greater Kansas City area. So it just makes me, you know, think about it more, and I'm just would like to find out how I know how things are progressing. So is there a contact person, or maybe can I leave my information, or?
Yeah, I think that's why we ask for your name and address, but yeah, please you leave a phone number, and we'll have one of our staff reach out to you. We do have some policies and procedures itself for staff that is in place regarding that. So
Well, excellent.
just so yeah, to give you more information,
Yeah,
obviously
well,
they'll
this
reach
would
out
set my mind at
a later
ease.
date. Okay.
So I appreciate that. Can I give
Okay.
my number over?
Yes, yeah, please give it to the city clerk. Thank you. Okay, and I have no one else this evening that's actually signed up, but please come forward, sir. Give your name and address for the record.
Greetings, and I want to second that. I'd like to see that sort of policy public on the website for people to be able to see. But I am speaking now regarding the matter in executive session later this evening. You're going to be talking about the performance review of one city administrator who has led the city down a bad path on a few occasions. And I'm going to give you some things some talking points maybe for that meeting with him. So get out your pens and pencils. Last April, he led the city to commit a violation of the Kansas Open Meetings Act that was confirmed by the Attorney General of the state of Kansas in November last year. I'm hoping you all got a copy of this. I don't know how open they are with communicating. I know sometimes the city lacks an openness. Chris Engel intentionally interfered with the campaign and verbally acknowledged such in this very room last year. He also bumped into me upstairs while acting like an angry bouncer. Offensive touching without consent, that is criminal battery, and that did happen in this very building last year. There was a witness. And lastly, just a couple months ago, Mr. Engel used the F word at me in his official city capacity. At a city function, an open meeting, he used the F word at a citizen of this city, and I want you to think about what that means. You might not agree with the things that I have to say, but I think I've been pretty civil. I think civility is important. You all have said as much that civility is important in our city. he has not demonstrated civility on many occasions. So these are some things to consider in that executive session. I know that the state laws allow you to conceal what is discussed in those executive sessions. They do not require you to do so. You could disclose, if you wanted to be open and truthful with the public, you could disclose that when you come back out, significant details from that meeting, probably not all of it, but significant parts of it. So I encourage you to do so in the spirit of transparency. That's all I have for you this evening. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone else like to come forward, even though we don't have sign-ups? No one's signed up at this point, but you're still welcome to come forward to the podium, and no one out there wants to do that? Okay. All right, well, we will close out the public section of that meeting, and we will move right on to the next item tonight, and that's the consent agenda. All items listed under this heading are considered to be routine by the City Council, may be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which case that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. We do have 3 items this evening on the consent. Is there any council member that would like to have one of those items removed? Okay, I see anyone asking for anything to be removed. I would entertain a motion for that then. Mr. Silvers.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move that the council approve consent agenda items number 1 through 3.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Okay, Ms. Shveta.
Mr. Mayor, I second.
Madam Clerk, we have a motion and a second.
Councilmember Shavetta.
Aye.
Councilmember Kozmeyer.
Aye.
Councilmember Hands.
Aye.
Councilmember Caldwell.
Aye.
Councilmember Leahy.
Aye.
Councilmember Ryder.
Aye.
Councilmember Silvers.
Aye.
Councilmember Yodridge. Aye. Motion passes 8-0.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next item up this evening is the mayor's report, and I get to do one of my favorite things, and that's to issue a proclamation. So bear with me while I read this proclamation this evening. Whereas parks and recreation programs are an integral part of our communities throughout this country, including Merriam, and whereas parks and recreation are vitally important to maintaining the quality of life in our city and contributing to the economic and environmental well-being of our community, and whereas park and recreation promotes health and wellness, improving the physical and mental health of our community members, and whereas park and recreation encourages physical activities by providing space for fitness classes, hiking trails, swimming pools, and many other programs designed to promote healthy and active lifestyles, including educational activities and citywide special events. And whereas park and recreation programming and education activities such as out of school time programming, youth sports, and STEAM education workshops are critical to the childhood development, and whereas the City of Merriam recognizes the benefits derived from these parks and recreation resources, now therefore I, Bob Pape, by the virtue of the authority vested in me as the Mayor of Merriam, Kansas, do hereby proclaim July 2026 as Parks and Recreation Month, proclaimed on this 13th day of July 2026, Bob Pape, Mayor. And I bet we probably would have Director Slocum come forward, and I'd present this to you, and maybe we can get a picture. Oh, excuse me. Well, and your staff. I'm sorry, not just you. No. Please bring anybody you'd like to come forward.
Albert? I can't
You have a great entourage.
I do.
I'm glad you-
I-
Please
I have a
come forward here,
following.
because we're going to present this to her and let her hold this, and we'll all get in the picture. How's that?
I took a shower, gosh, guys.
Yeah, come on.
Good, I'm well. Thank you. I don't know.
You want to hold it?
Yes, I will, yes.
Okay,
Can you get us all in?
smiling? Roll in. Push in.
I'm taller than you.
Oh, okay, we're still organizing. Good. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Going on again. Oh, I probably should have stayed down there, but that's all right. I'll come back. How's that? Next item up this evening is Employee Service Awards for our second quarter, and I'm sure Mr. Ingles going to come forward with that, and I'm going to meet him down there.
As the mayor's working his way back down down here. This is always a great opportunity. Once a quarter, we recognize all of our employees that have hit a benchmark level of service in terms of their tenure here, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 sometimes even. This evening, we're going to recognize 5 individuals that have, for their dedicated service to the city. We're going to start with our 5-year service awards. We're going to start with, from our Park and Rec Department, 5 years of dedicated service to Park and Rec, Laura Lagarde.
Okay, thank you. You can beat that.
Also with 5 years of dedicated service to our Park and Rec Department is Jessica Sullivan.
Jessica, be part of Merriam here. Okay, thank you.
And last but not least, with 5 years of dedicated service to our Park and Rec is Abby Hall.
Thank you.
We don't have any 10-year recognition, but we do have a 20-year recognition, and with 20 years of dedicated service, 20 years, long time, to our Public Works Department, Halen Covell.
Thank you.
And then even rarer, as we get up past 20, 25 years, we've got a 25-year service award, dedicated service to our police department, Chris Brokaw. As the mayor sits down, we always try to do this same evening. New employees, we try to acknowledge, just introduce the public, introduce the council with a wave of the hand of some of our new employees that have joined Team Merriam over the course of the last quarter. We've got 4 of them that we're going to give a shout out to tonight. When I share your name, please stand up and just wave to the council for us so they can see who you are. New employee in our police department, community service officer, Scott Higgins. In our new superintendent of recreation facility and park and rec, Jack Sparks. New maintenance worker number 1 in public works, Brandon Mihal. And then also new public works maintenance worker number 1 in public works, Aldo Guzman. Let's give all of our employees, our tenured employees and our new employees, another round of applause. Welcome.
Our employees is what makes Merriam so great. Thank you for all doing what you do. Okay, next item is, I always like to try to say a few things that I and the council have done during the last few weeks. And I'll start out here by saying several council members assisted with the preparation of the flags for freedom, installation of the flags, and removal of the flags. This is one of the most patriotic events that the city of Merriam does every year. It was especially impressive this year that we celebrated the 250th anniversary of our country. Several council members attended the 4th of July event where everyone was entertained by the band. And I guess there was some great food. I unfortunately didn't make it. But thanks go out to all the staff and all the volunteers in the community that assisted and gave up their time to make this event happen. There were, and I guess I should have found this number out. Was it 1,200? How many flags do we have flying, Director Slocum? 1,250? Okay, 1,250 flags in the city. Isn't that amazing? That's awesome. So that's what makes Merriam just right, anyway. Okay, there was a cruise night, the first one of the summer, and it's my understanding that a good time was had by everyone. Unfortunately, I wasn't there. But I would have been with one of my cars had I been. But anyway, thank you for the Park and Rec for putting that on. We appreciate that. I assisted Johnson County Kiwanis with our Lenexa Barbecue Ice Sell-Off. That's one of our major fundraisers for for Kiwanis itself. Okay, I and several council members attended the Downtown Master Plan Open House at the Community Center. I and several council attended the Merriam Business Appreciation Event at 30 Hop, and I was been kind of out of the loop, so I know there's probably other things I missed. Does anybody have anything they'd like to mention that I've missed? Okay. Flags for Freedom was our big event, that was for sure. Okay, well, thank you for all everything you've done. Okay, so looks like next item up this thing is council items. Consider approval of a crossing guard. Looks like we've got Chief McLaughlin coming to the podium.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. What I have before you is, our two possible contracts with ACMS to provide crossing guards for City of Merriam. We've been contracting with them for a few years now. Currently, we have crossing guard station at 61st and Maston and 61st and Craig to provide crossing for our children that go to those two schools in our city. We were approached by council to investigate providing 2 additional guards as a possibility. Those locations would be at the 2 Hawk signals at Johnson Drive and Maston, and the other one would be Johnson Drive and Goodman. So what I have before you are 2 contracts. We did address the possibility of funding up to 4 crossing guards in our 2027 budget. And if that budget's approved with the funding that's in there, funding 4 crossing guards would be possible through that line item. Unfortunately, school years run differently than our budget years. And we have to engage a contract with ACMS so they can provide guards for the 26-27 school year. If the council decides to go ahead and provide 4 crossing guards for this school year, there will be a $12,000 budget shortfall in my budget due to the fact we've raised the crossing guards from 2 to 4 for the rest of this year. We can cover that in savings in our personnel budget, so we don't need to address any other funding issues with that. If council decides that they do not wish to fund 4 crossing guards for the 26-27 school year, you have the option to approve the second contract in the packet I gave you to continue with just the 2 crossing guards. 4 crossing guards will cost us $51,840. 2 crossing guards would cost us $30,355. I am happy to answer any questions if you have it.
Do you have any questions for Chief McLaughlin? Go ahead, Ms. Shveta.
I don't have a question, I just have a comment. Thank you for bringing this to us, because this is something that I've heard from a lot of our residents in Ward 4 with Crestview, and I know Amy and Whitney have in Ward 2. So thank you, we appreciate it.
No problem.
Any other questions for the chief? Okay, well, it looks like, oh, go ahead.
Do we need to decide if we're, before we make a motion?
Yeah, well, I think that's what we need to make my suggestion, I guess, would be is that whoever wants to make the motion, to make a motion for either the 4 or the 2, and we'll see if it passes. Okay, so if somebody would like, Ms. Shveta, go ahead.
Can I go ahead and make a motion? Okay.
Make the motion.
All right, thank you. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move that the council approve the contract with ACMS to provide is it ACMS or ACM? Sorry. ACMS to provide 4 crossing guards in the 2026-2027 school year in the amount of $51,840.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Ms. Ryder?
Mr. Mayor, I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Kosmeyer.
Aye.
Councilmember Hands.
Aye.
Councilmember Caldwell.
Aye.
Councilmember Leahy.
Aye.
Councilmember Ryder.
Aye.
Councilmember Silvers.
Aye.
Councilmember Yodrich.
Aye.
Councilmember Shveta.
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay. Looks like next item up would be a resolution. Okay, and we have Ms. Gardner to the
The only
podium.
reason I brought my phone up is because if you guys make me do math. All right, this evening we're going to be discussing the assessment that will be placed on household property bills for our solid waste removal, trash, recycling, and yard waste. November 1st is coming up faster than we think. We have to have this information into the county by sometime in September, and we also need accurate numbers for the assessments for our upcoming budget. So before you tonight are two recommendations. One is actually a staff recommendation, but if we would like to go an alternative route, we did provide you that alternative. Staff is recommending a fixed assessment over the course of the term of the contract, which is through 2030. This will mean no rate increases for our residents over the entire course of that term. Our revenues will balance at the end, so while residents may feel like they may be paying a little bit more to begin with, they will certainly be paying less towards the end. I have a chart here on the next slide once I get through all this. It's going to simplify our budget. It's going to be a lot easier for us to project. And that rate would be set at $282.29 per residential dwelling unit per year. That is staff's recommendation. This would be the simplest, not only for communication purposes for our residents, but again, it wouldn't be increasing the residential rate at least through the contract term of 2030. If you did like to go an alternative route, we would have to have this conversation every year. So tonight we would be setting the 2026 and 2027 rates at what you see on your screen and what's in your packet. It would then projected to increase each year until through 2030. This is going to more accurately reflect the annual program cost. The increases would be consistent with the CPI and all of the other contractual negotiations. But again, we would have to discuss this every year at budget. So therefore, next year we'd be coming with the 28 rate, and then we would come with the 29 rate, and then subsequently the 2030 rate. If you'd like to look how that pans out over 5 years, this is what that looks like. The blue line is going to be that average cost, that fixed cost over the course of the 5 years. The orange red line would be that annual increase for residents. Like I said, we can't set that annual rate increase every year. We have to do it once per year, but we can set the set rate through 2030 tonight, if that's what you choose to do. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Gardner? Mr. Silvers, go ahead.
I actually have two questions. My first question is, it appears, based on what I read, that we're going to start this new service in November, and then in January, there's going to possibly be a rate increase.
Yes, the 2026 rate will be prorated for the November and December months, but January 1st of each year would, if you chose the increased rate each year, it would start on January 1st.
Okay. It's my opinion that seems like a bait and switch. I don't like that. My second question is, they are allowed to do a rate increase up to 2% every year, based on the contract that the agreement that we have with them.
3%.
3%. Okay, so so is there a chance that after 2030, I had 8% increase when I estimated at 2%, but residents could be hit with 3% per year, like a total amount equaling 3% per year between 2027. So what, 12%? They could get a 12% increase?
We would have to go out for a rebid. I don't want to say what the trash haulers are going to do in 5 years, but
Well,
I can only imagine there would be
I don't
an
know any
increase.
company that wouldn't do the full
Right.
rate. So in my mind, an annual raise, even though it creates more work for city staff, will be less of a hit in 2030 than if we just do a standard rate and reevaluate in 2030. And the rest of the council might disagree with me, and I'd like to hear their opinion. But I think especially for new people moving to Merriam who aren't aware of all this, it could be quite a shock in 2030 to get At 2%, it's $7.34 a month more.
I will say that all of these numbers already include the CPI, not only for the contractual increase, but also, if you recall, within this budget, we have half of a personnel, we have some communications costs, and then we do have a contingency just because we've never done this program before. All of those include a 3% increase, at least a 3% increase, and so I think we're covered budgetary-wise. I'm not sure what's going to happen in 2030 with trash rates.
Okay. Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Kozma.
So I was originally leaning towards the fixed blue option, but I think Jason makes some good points about, if in 2030, if we go with the blue option, assuming everything averages out, 3% or whatever into the future, then they'll charge us, like $240 a month or a year, I'm sorry. And then that is a much more surprising jump from 2030 to 2031 than, whatever the 3% above 297 is. So I guess I don't know exactly where I'm going there, but I think there are, pros to both.
Go ahead, Ms. Schmidt.
Yeah, so this is the red orange line is the projection. So projected to change $30 a year over the course of this contract. So that changes it monthly. Sorry, I have my calculator.
Thanks for doing that for me.
Looking at my phone. So it's 20. That would at the top of that in 2030 would be like $24.77 a month. I know we're not billing monthly, but that's just how I think of it. And then on the low end to start now would be around 22 something a month. I cleared it out of my calculator, but so that's changing about like $24 a year potentially. And then I mean, I see pros and cons to both because I was originally like thinking that the set fee, I'm like, oh, that's like the $23 we talked about per month. That makes sense. But I could see where, by the time we renegotiate or go back out to bid, this could change greatly by 2030 too. And that would be a really big increase potentially. I don't know. I'm just word vomiting. So someone jump in.
Ms. Hans.
I'm probably changing the thought pattern, however, because some of why we put CPI in there is so that we don't necessarily have a standard increase every year. And if you can calculate what the standard increase every year is, it kind of blows my mind. I'm not comfortable with that. I would prefer actual cost.
Go ahead, Ms. Caldo.
I think the question becomes to all of us, are you going to be on the council in 2031? Because we could have a big sticker shock. And I would like to avoid that. Just keeping my options open.
Mr. Kuzma, go ahead.
I do think, though, whichever option we choose, the 2031 costs are going to be significantly lower than what we were all paying for trash service a year ago, at $40 a month plus.
Great. Go ahead, Mr. Silvers.
First of all, I'd like to thank Stacy for correcting me. I said $7.34 per month, but it's per quarter. My wife handles the trash. So, but I just needed some clarification from Bruce. What did you mean?
Well, if we go with the even, and I like simplicity, so
Yeah.
that would be good. But you're going to get all 3 years worth of jump in 2031, as opposed to a little bit every year. Like I say, it'd just be sticker shock in 31. Same amount of money if you live in Merriam the whole time.
Something else we haven't mentioned yet is one of the main complaints that we heard from residents before we went through with this process was how their trash rates increased every year. If we did go with the fixed option, that would alleviate that issue for at least 5 years.
For 3 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
If I could just add to the conversation also, again, we can do either of them. That's why we presented both of them. Both of them accomplished the same thing at the end of the run. I think these are all valid points about what happens between 30 and 31. I think the thing to keep in mind is that unlike our current exposure and knowledge of our bill going up, this is buried in the property taxes. Nobody's going to get a bill for this. So if it's for 5 years, it just shows up as a line like a stormwater fee or a set fee that's on there. It doesn't mean it doesn't go up. It doesn't mean it doesn't impact the bottom line of what you pay in taxes. It just means it's not like when we see the price at the pump every day where we go, oh, gas went up by this. We set this rate. If we choose to keep it the same, it stays the same, and there's so many variables each year with the property tax, with all the different property taxing entities, that if it goes up $20, it goes up $30, the school district has half your mills. If they roll their mill up by 0.001 or down by 0.001, it negates any impact that it has on it. So just as a perspective, that it's not that bill that we get every quarter and we look at it and go, man, they raised my rates again by $20, and I don't even know what I got for that. So just a perspective, but we can do either.
Go ahead, Mr. Leahy.
A couple things. I like the simplicity of it being one fee for 5 years, and people know how to budget around it. Nobody can complain about raising, and it's set for 5 years. My question is our contract for 5 full calendar years? So is 2031 supposed to be on here?
No, it's through, because 2026 is technically,
So it counts as a year?
it does.
Okay. So our contract is done December 31st, or at least the current contract as it stands, December 31st, 2030.
Yes.
Great. And then we have the option to renegotiate or extend or rebid?
Yes.
And how are we handling the fee from November to January 1
Of this year?
on the property tax assessment?
It'll be prorated just for November and December, so in your December bill, you'll just see a prorated amount based on whatever rate you all set tonight.
Okay.
Any other questions for Ms. Gard? Okay, go ahead, Mr. Cosmo.
I'm sorry, can you go back over the mechanism that increases the cost annually? It's a maximum of 3% or the CPI?
Contractually, the agreement with GFL is a 3% increase.
Okay.
But in our budget, we have additional costs
Okay.
for administrating the program, staffing costs, communication costs, mailing costs. We also have a contingency because we haven't done this program before. We're not exactly sure what to expect.
Yeah.
And some of those costs are a little bit more than 3%.
Okay, but it's not necessarily linked to an external metric that they don't
No.
have control over. These are going to be the costs regardless.
Correct.
Okay. So it's not like if we go into the fixed, then if all of a sudden inflation is negligible, then we're losing money by going fixed. It's
Unless we're
okay.
really bad budgeters.
Right.
Okay, any other questions for Ms. Gard? Well, I don't know.
Sorry, this is related but unrelated. At a few council meetings ago, I shared that GFL had set their route schedule. There were concerns with some of the routes cutting through neighborhoods, so we have renegotiated that route map with GFL. So the only route two routes that are really affected are the yellow and blue routes. That northern border of the Tuesday route pickup is now Johnson Drive, so it won't be splitting any neighborhoods.
Just taking care of that.
It's good.
Okay. Or do you have anything else for us before we take a vote?
I don't.
You don't? Okay.
No. Just
I wanted to say there are 2 motions
Exactly.
from which we can choose. And shall I make a motion? It would be nice to know that the motion I am making.
I still feel that fixed rate is the right way to do it, yes.
At this point, I would say whoever wants to jump in there.
Not the average rate. That's hard for me to say that. The actual costs are
Year
the
by
one,
year.
year
The
by year.
annual rate.
Year by
Right,
year.
That's what you- Okay,
right.
that's coming from the annual rate. Yeah, Mr. Silvers.
Year by year. for me.
Year by year, if you can.
To clarify, Councilmember Hands, so renegotiating it reapproving it every year?
Reapproving it.
Yeah,
I-
not
it's-
negotiating, sorry, I said the
I
wrong
don't-
word, reapproving it.
I would think that staff is going to do the comparison work anyway to be sure that we're meeting what the budgeted stuff is. I don't think I'm asking for extra work. It is an extra motion from council.
Okay, so I don't know if everybody knows everybody's feelings on this, but does somebody want to jump in there and
I'll-
make a motion?
I'll
for
make the
one of those?
motion.
Okay, go ahead,
Yep.
Ms. Shadridge.
And I think this is when we, because we threw some words around. So I'm going to go with this one and say this is the approve year by year, which is move that the council approve a resolution setting solid waste assessment fees for 2026 and 2027.
Yeah, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Go ahead, Mr. Caldwell.
Mr. Mayor, I'll second that.
Okay, Madam Clerk, we have a motion and a second.
Councilmember Hands.
No. Yes, yes, I'm sorry. They're listed in the opposite order. Yes.
Your vote is
Okay,
yes.
yes for Ms.
Aye.
Hands.
Councilmember Caldwell.
Yes.
Councilmember Leahy.
Aye.
Councilmember Ryder.
Aye.
Councilmember Silvers.
Aye.
Councilmember Yodridge.
Aye.
Councilmember Shavetta.
Aye.
Councilmember Kozmeyer.
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Looks like the next item up is a community development update. Looks like we have Director Dyer cover the podium.
Council, Mayor, Community Development Director Brian Dyer. Just some updates on activities on development and also grants. Development updates, just you know that the Bojangles permit for the refit of the old Jack in the Box that has been issued, so you probably should be starting seeing some work going on down there at that location. Also, as we talked about before, the Aldi building permit, we are simply waiting for them to provide us with one more subcontractor for that, and then that permit will be ready to go out the door as soon as they come in and pick it up. So that permit is very close to being ready to go. The Genesis Automobile dealership over on Frontage Road, they're still looking for hopefully to be open and operational next month, so that goes along at pace, as well as the Trader Joe's. As you can see, signage has gone up over there, so they are continuing to move forward with work. They still have quite a bit of interior stuff going, but yeah, they still continue to make good progress on that project. And then kind of switching over to the grant program, the driveway grant program, we have, obviously you all approved a couple months ago, the contract for that. They've reached out to the folks who are going to be participating in that program or setting up scheduling with them to get those driveways installed. Hopefully they'll begin installing late this month, so they are working on that. And then the exterior grant, it's been a really good year on that. We have a lot of participation in that. We have about $600 unallocated funds left in there. When I say unallocated, that means we just simply haven't applied them to somebody towards somebody's project. Doesn't mean we've spent them. So it's important to know that. It's because a lot of times we start to have folks that may fall out of the program. We allocated them funds for a project, but they don't complete it for one reason or another. I say all that to say this: if someone has projects that would fit in that program, certainly encourage them to apply to that program. We'll get them on the list, and if funding comes available, we'll obviously provide that for them. So sustainability grant, we have quite a bit left in that still, about $15,000 of unallocated funds in that. So if you know anybody who wants a new HVAC system, that is a great program for that. Really is, that's probably really a lot of folks participate in that. And then the last grant I have to talk about is the property tax grant. That grant application will close August 28th. As a reminder, that is a grant program in which the city reimburses the city's portions of our residents' property tax back to the residents, provided that they're income qualified. And so far, we've helped over 70 families. We refunded over 70 families their city's portion of the property tax to them. But I did want to remind everybody that we're very quickly coming up to the deadline for when that program will end. Everybody should have. Everybody who wishes to participate in the program at least should have made their second payment on their property tax back in May. So yeah, if anybody know who, again, it's income eligibility for that program, encourage them to apply. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Dr. Dyer? And that way? Anybody this way? Okay, thank you, Dr. Dyer.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, the next item up would just be informational items. They were in our packet. And does anybody have any questions concerning either of those committees that met or the advisory boards or? Well, I see none there. Okay, it's my understanding, Mr. Engel, we do have an executive session this evening.
That is my understanding also.
Okay. And I think Would you like to make a motion?
Yes, how
Shadrach?
much time do you want?
I think, I haven't heard back from anybody else. I think either 20 minutes or 25. What do you guys think you need? That's my mind.
You want 25?
25.
Okay. 25?
25.
All right, so that would put us at 8:05. All right, Mr. Mayor, I move that the governing body recess into executive session to discuss the city administrator's annual performance review pursuant to KSA 75-4319B1, which allows the governing body to hold an executive session to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel. Present will be the governing body, city attorney. The meeting will reconvene in the council chambers at 8:05 p.m.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second? Go ahead, Ms. Shadrach. Oh, excuse me, Ms. Shavetta. Ms. Shadrach already gave us the motion.
Mr. Mayor, second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Caldwell.
Aye.
Councilmember Leahy.
Aye.
Councilmember Ryder.
Aye.
Councilmember Silvers.
Aye.
Councilmember Yodrich.
Aye.
Councilmember Shavetta.
Aye.
Councilmember Kozmeyer.
Aye.
Councilmember Hands.
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And we'll be meeting in our back room.
Yep. 8:05.
Okay, we'll reconvene. I don't think there was, did I ask you, Ms. Bingle, before I left here, did staff have anything that I've missed? I don't think I did that.
You did not ask. We just have two updates. One, we've got a dive-in movie at the community center on Friday, the 17th. And then our second downtown master plan steering committee meeting will be next Tuesday, the 21st.
Thank you. And I did have one other comment that I was going to make earlier, and I failed to do so, and I apologize for that. But couple things. Those of you, almost, I think everyone knows that Stoney Bogan, who is a good friend of the city, has passed away. There is going to be on July 15th from 10 a.m. to noon, kind of a celebration of life for Stoney. It says, bring your lawn chairs, wear some red, and Stoney's favorite color. So together we'll honor a life well lived, celebrate the friendships he built, and remember the joy he brought to many. So that will be going on, again, July 15th, 10 a.m. to noon. Another individual that you may or may not know, because it hasn't been around too much lately, but I've known him very well for many, many years, and that's George Mowry, was our volunteer division chief with the fire department, has passed away as well. And he had over, I think it was 53 and a half, exactly, 53 and a half years of volunteer service with the fire department here in Merriam. So we'll be doing some recognition for him later on at another council meeting itself for all of his service that he provided to the city over all those years. Funeral services will be held on Monday, July 20th, 2026 at 11 a.m. at the Amos Funeral Home. They also have a visitation from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on that same date. So if anybody wants to make that or can, I'll definitely be there. And the fire department is going to have our reserve unit is going to be in the funeral procession, just so everybody knows. And so these are being recognized from the fire department anyway as well. And Overland Park's doing that for us. So I don't have anything else. Does anyone else have anything else before I call for a motion? Yeah. All right, I'll call for a motion. Ms. Shidrich.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Second? Ms. Shavetta.
Mr. Mayor, second.
Okay, Madam Clerk, we have a motion second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.